Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. If you're looking for a new car, make sure you check out my guy, Matt Bowers, one of his many locations throughout the region, all different types of cars, great prices, great customer care, great service, a lot of specials going on this month. Make sure you check him out at one of his mini dealerships. Will get you the best prices, and that's the home of the lifetime warranty. So make sure you check out Matt. Our first topic today, we're going to pick up where we left off, back from the combine. A lot of stuff to talk about here, a lot of stuff to unpack. But let's start here. Right where we left off last time, Derek Carr going to be the topic du jour until I think right through the start of the league year, the 13th. I think the 13th, right? That's the start of the league year.
It's next week, next Wednesday, whatever day that is. Next Monday is when you actually start legal tampering, though. So,
The
but by
12th.
next Wednesday is when they have to get all they have to actually get under the cap, that 50 million or so.
So that'll be 3 o'clock on the 12th. So right up until there, I think that's going to be the biggest topic that we're talking about. The first topic is presented by Shedeur Insurance, the Earhart Agency. What do you think is a like? All right, so Derek Carr, end of the season, says, "I'm not taking a pay cut to Cat Terrell," all that stuff, and that's all fine and well. Like that's a fine point of view. It's a fine thought. It's logical at the time. You believe it at the time. It's the truth at the time. But then you get to March, and things might change. And let's say ice melts on that a little bit, and there's a willingness on both sides. Hey, and I think from the Saints' point of view, the best way out of this 2-year process, you get them to take a pay cut this year. I think
Yeah,
that's the
of
best
course,
way out of
of
it.
course.
Like you could
Makes
even
the
like
most
there's the whole like June 1st mechanism. I think you could just cut his salary down to that so like it kind of plays out like that. You're kind of doing it in two chunks. Like there's a lot of ways you could do this to help your cap. He still makes more money, I think, if the Saints keep him on a pay cut than if they cut him. I think there is a win-win here, but what would a win-win look like?
Yeah, exactly. Look, it's really hard with quarterbacks. It's really hard with quarterbacks in Derek Carr's tier because I mean, if you go through the veteran starting quarterbacks and what they make. Derek Carr is about 18th right now, 17th, 18th. He's right around Aaron Rodgers, who they already announced he's going to get cut. He's right around Baker Mayfield. But so there's 15 guys making ridiculously more money than him. 60, 55, 55, 55, 53, 53. He's only been making 30 with the Saints. So in his mind, he's already been taking less. He believes he took a discount when he first came to the Saints. But there's him and Baker making 30. There's Geno Smith making 25. And then boom, you are down to like Gardner Minshew, 12 million. Like there are no NFL quarterbacks who make $20 million. Like I think Derek Carr should make $20 million, but it almost doesn't exist in the NFL. It's either you are paid like a starter, which is 30 plus, or you're paid like a backup, which is 10 minus. So that's the only thing that makes this real difficult to me. I would not want to go into free agency if I was Derek Carr. I still think
Yeah.
somebody would give him a chance to start. But Sam Darnold is out there, Russell Wilson's out there, Aaron Rodgers is out there, Kirk Cousins is going to be out there. There's not going to be enough spots for all these guys. Two of those guys I just mentioned are probably going to have to take $8 million. Justin Fields is another one, $10 million. The money is just not there for all these veteran quarterbacks. So, of course, he'd love to hang on to his 40, and he does have a ton of leverage here. The Saints have already pretty much made it clear they're not just going to cut him and eat it on the cap. It would be really hard for them to do that unless they're going to tank this year. They're not going to tank this year, so he has some leverage. So I have a feeling it'll end up closer to like 30. Well, at least you're giving us a little back, even though I think it should be closer to 20. The Saints just can't play enough hardball to
Hold,
demand.
hold up real quick though. Like we both agree pay cut. Like
Yeah, no
I think he's
question.
taking a pay cut. I think he
Now look,
has to.
if here, but he's going to have to. There's going to have to be something in it for him. And look, I think he's open to the idea, but like you said, it's going to have to be a win-win because if he played a game of chicken with the Saints and he said, "Nope, your only two options are pay me 40 million or cut me and see what that does to your cap," he has a lot of leverage there. But the win-win is all right. I'll give 10 back, but does that mean you'll build a better team around me in free agency and maybe we'll be able to win? I think maybe it'll mean his offset bonus next year becomes a fully guaranteed bonus. Just something where they're giving him a little something back. But I think there is an acknowledgement of the reality that he's probably not a $40 million quarterback right now. But I don't think the Saints have enough leverage for it to be a drastic pay cut.
I think the Saints have some leverage here though too, and Derek definitely
Oh,
does. I don't disagree with that at all. Like he definitely could take it to the wire and make it uncomfortable on them if there is a just staunch unwillingness on their side to move on. But what if they aren't? What if they're
yeah,
willing to say, "Hey, you know what? We'll do the June 1st and we'll cut you and good luck out there. Like go get more than Darnold and Aaron Rodgers because you probably won't. Like he isn't going to get more than Darnold, I don't think. Like on an open market situation, Rodgers is a mystery to me, but I think Rodgers might get more. So all of a sudden, you might be looking at the $10 million contract, like with the incentives or whatever. Like
yeah,
it could get bleak for him kind of quickly.
yeah.
So
He
like
does not want to be a free agent. He does not.
and that the other thing is you get trapped here and it's just like, all right, cool. You want to be, you want to play it like that. Well, then we're not adding anybody to the offense and good luck. And you're gonna have a bad year here. And look, I think Derek's really I think there's a reality where Derek could end up on that like 1 year mercenary carousel if he doesn't do something kind of in the near future. Like where he's just kind of the guy that goes in and you bring him in and there's never really any stability and they're always trying to replace him. But I think that there's still a chance for if you're Derek Carr and you believe circumstances have held you back and you haven't been supported and you haven't had the right coaching and you haven't had the right players around you, maybe you take a pay cut with the hey, look, I'm going to take a pay cut here and I'm going to save you 10 million, 15 million, whatever, but go spend 10 or 15 million dollars on the offense and go do that. Give me some better players and I can show what I can do and then maybe you get one more contract. I think that there's some give and take here that would make a lot of sense for both sides, but I think both sides have some leverage, and I think they both just got to meet in the middle at the win-win because the win-win here for Derek is hey, look, I'm gonna come back and I'm not gonna hit the open market, but I'm gonna make $28 million, and you're gonna spend 12 million on the offense, and,
Yeah,
and we're gonna make it up that way. Like, and I think for the Saints, the win-win here is like, okay, we don't have to cut you and we don't have to tank the whole season, but we can get this number down to a more manageable level. We have the mutual stick together for this year, and then a year from now, we both go our own ways, and we figure it out from there. I think that's the win-win in this situation, and I think it's just too logical not to. Like, I don't think the Saints are going to take the hard stance, and I think when Derek Carr and his team sit down and they think about it, like there's a very obvious like, all right, like someone has to relink. There's got to be a little bit
yeah.
of a relentment here.
And
And
I
what
think
it
we're getting those indications too. I mean, we were in Indy last week. We've talked to people for months. I think there's reason involved in this negotiation. This also isn't a two sides that refuse to speak to each other playing chicken. I think they will meet somewhere in the middle. I really do.
like I hate talking about it through cash spend, but like just to illustrate cash spend this year, like the $40 million cash spend, like it's kind of BS because like it's obviously like how contracts are structured and everything. But like the $40 million cash spend, it goes Herbert, Tua, Mahomes, Dak. Man, Deshaun Watson, that contract sucks.
Oh,
Like
God.
Lamar, Jalen Hurts, and then Derek Carr, like, you just can't be there. But like if you get down to 30, like that's the cash spend on Geno, Kyler, Baker Mayfield. Cousins is 27.5. Like that's some more. Like get
Yeah.
down there. Like get down there. Stafford, $27 million cash spend. Like get around
Yeah, if you're
27,
playing
28.
around with these, I think average per year is the best judge because that that
No
that
doubt.
that combines both, and it's still the same thing. It's. I mean, there's some people who are making way too much in every one of these tiers, but yeah, like we've seen Jordan Love and Tua get into the 53, 55. Jared Goff got 53, but and like Mahomes is still down at 45. Josh Allen's still down at 43. They can't wait for their next contracts to come up, but yeah, like for sure. Carr is in the Mayfield. Geno, I mean, Geno's still at 25. He's kind of in a tier of his own. So, but that's about right. I think he should be getting paid what Geno is getting paid. That's about where he is. He's still a starter. He should be paid like a starter, but he should be paid like your next alternative is you're going to get paid like Gardner Minshew if you get left holding the bag. So I think it makes all the sense in the world for some of those guys to be making 20 million. It just doesn't seem to happen in the NFL.
It's like if you got him around like 28 million, I think the PR value there is a tremendous too. Like people like I think that would change a lot. Like I think it would change the conversation. Like Derek
Yeah,
Carr, $28 million. Like, hey, I'm giving money back so this team can win, and this
yeah,
is what I'm about. Like, I really think that could go a long way towards like healing some of the stuff here. There's some people that are just gonna want him gone no matter what. There's no win-win situation for some people, but I think logically speaking, like if you get this dude at like $28 million last year, you go at it, you get him some help, kind of see where it goes from there. Like I really feel like that could heal it a little bit. Am I crazy?
Um,
Like,
well, there's a you keep doing the
yeah, like
psychological.
28.
You're in the 20s. You're in the
I
20s.
like 28. 28 is
Let's
my
call
number.
it 30. I'm going to predict 30 because that's what he's made each of the last 2 years. It's a round number. It sounds better for him than 28. Let's call it 30. Is there healing with 30 instead of
Yeah,
40?
but I like honestly, like if I were him, and I think if you're like the 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 $500,000 that would make the difference in psychological just
Yeah,
processing of it, like do it at 29.5. I would give him
yeah,
500,000 back just to say it's under. Cause like if I'm doing this, I'm already giving back money. Like I'm
yeah,
already going through that. I've taken the pay cut. Like I've agreed to do that. I've placed my ego aside a little bit, and I would just, if I were him,
yeah.
I would push to be below the $30 million barrier because there's just something different about
I mean,
28 than 30.
29
The
sounds like you gave money back to the Saints.
29.5 sounds
Yeah,
like you gave money back.
yeah.
29.8, like if you're just doing it, like I would do it just to get under that. So people are like, yeah, he cut it from 40 to 29. Like it just
And here's
feels
another
different.
easy thing to do. Make it like I don't care if he makes 40 if he has a hell of a season. Go ahead and make it, 28 plus 4 for 17 games started plus 4 for a playoff appearance plus 4 for a Super Bowl appearance and it gets back to 40 if you have that year. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind if that happens too.
Like there's just something. Look, that like being in below the mark in a spreadsheet filter, like it's in the mind, it's in business, it's in everything. Like if you're selling advertising and someone comes to you and says, "I want to spend $10,000," be like, "No, do it at 9.8." So when they run that filter on the Excel sheet, you're below that $10,000 threshold, and everything they're cutting above the $10,000 mark, you're below it. Just a
Getting
little
some
game for
tips
y'all.
from
Just a
Nick.
little game for y'all. You want to be underneath that threshold, man. Like, is it good? You gotta
Hey, it's
survive,
my
and
fantasy baseball auction time, man. I love being the guy who says 29 or 39 on a player because it's hard for that next person to say 40. It really is.
yeah, it's just a smart place to exist, man, all the time. Just below those little like thresholds. Moving on to the next topic here, which is presented by Hard Hide Punch and Strawberry Whiskey. The Saints met with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders at the combine. What do we make of that? Just sticking with the QB topic.
Well, they better meet with those guys every year, and they have been. They've been meeting with guys like that for a lot of years. But I mean, they have the ninth pick in the draft. One of those guys could not only fall to 4 or 5, where a trade up becomes reasonable. Shedeur Sanders could theoretically fall to 9. I don't think he will, but even if Cam Ward is the number 1 pick in the draft, I hope they're doing their homework and having those conversations and thinking about it because that's everything in the NFL, and this is as close as they've ever been to striking distance to the top pick. You can trade from 9 to 1. I don't like the price. I even if I like Cam Ward, and I kind of do like Cam Ward, I wouldn't want to trade 2 1s and 2 2s for him. Or more, which is what it's cost in the past. But absolutely, positively, if they weren't looking at those guys, that's almost all that matters to this team. They better have long conversations and detailed opinions on those guys.
Yeah, on March 3rd, I would say the Saints would not draft Shedeur, if he were there at 9. On April 24th, things can change by then, but I don't think he would be the pick there at 9. I don't know if he'd be the pick on the swing, honestly, in the second round. I don't know. I I have questions about it as we sit here today. I think the only quarterback they would draft as we sit here today, like early on, is Cam Ward. I think that's the only one out of the trio that they would take early on. Again, things change. You get desperate. You get QB insecurity. Things don't work with Carr. Like all of a sudden, you got a need. You got to cut him. Like a lot could change in that. But I think as we sit here on March 3rd, I don't see that. I don't see that pick happening at 9. But yeah, you have to do your homework on him. And both could slip. Like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
there was the year Mahomes was the first QB taken in that draft. Like if people just don't love him, they
No,
don't
no,
feel
no,
great
he
about him.
wasn't. Mitch Trubisky got
Mitch
traded up to
Trubisky.
number 2.
That's right. Yeah. Well, the first real QB taken in
First
that
real
draft.
QB taken there.
Yeah. But yeah, like they could fall. Like it could happen. It could. Like people just start feeling different ways about them. But yeah, you got to do your homework on them. You got to know what's there, and then if something happens, you got to be ready to pounce. Or the Saints are like firmly in that QB market too.
Yeah.
You got to explore it. The Titans are selling the
Like, if
first
the
pick.
Saints had the number 1 pick, I'd say you have to take a quarterback. I'm sorry if you don't want to, you have to. Or at least trade down for a haul. But, like, you can't choose a defensive end over a quarterback if you're a team like the Saints or the Titans. You just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you definitely got to do your homework there and kind of see where everything falls. But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting at least. It at least puts them on the board too. Like you can't draft a QB you've never met with, so you gotta at least have like some insight into something there. But I think Cam Ward's would be the only one that I got circled right now on my list of possibilities early on.
You
We're
wouldn't
gonna
be surprised if there was a private workout in the future even? Like, I mean, that
no.
much homework on Cam Ward?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a private
Yeah,
workout with all three of them, just so you
yeah,
have all your information. But yeah, I mean, I think it means a little bit more with Cam
yeah.
Ward. So yeah, we'll kind of see how it goes. We're gonna hit a quick break here, and we'll be right back.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number 1 grocery store.
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Shedeur Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Shedeur Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Shedeur Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Shedeur. That's 504-326-6526. Shedeur Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. It is now time for our next topic. Free agency starts March 12th, we just said, and there's going to be a handful of guys that they got to make decisions on. Met with a few of them at the Combine. This topic is presented by Aaron Rose. Make sure you go check out Aaron Rose. Great place to hang out, watch a game, whatever. But yeah, let's just do some stare goes on some of these
Yeah.
free agents as we go through them. Just starting at the top of the list. I'm not going to work my way all the way down to like Trajan Jeffcoat, but starting with Chase
I don't
Young.
know. We gotta get to at least the Zach Bond level, so we're not dismissing anyone that could be defensive
Hey,
player of the year next year.
hey, man, like that was a like an easy go at the time. So I mean, it just
Yeah.
kind of is what it is. Chase Young, what do you think?
I mean, I think go because I think he's going to price himself out of New Orleans. It sounds like they've had conversations with him. Sounds like they would like to have him back. They should want to have him back. I would sign him back at the exact same contract again. I still believe in the upside as long as you're paying for what he actually is. I think another team is going to pay for what he could be, and I don't think the Saints can afford to pay for what he could be.
This is such a cop out but it's just the truth. Like I was asking about, trying to get some insight onto Chase Young from all sides, and all sides are like, well, we got to kind of like see what Bo Davis's vision is for everything. So
Yeah,
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 it's just
sure.
kind of like on a hold right now. But yeah, I think he probably ends up going because like somebody with deeper pockets and more desperation is going to pay,
That,
and that's
that
just
that
kind
was
of how
in
it goes.
someone's buzz article from the comment. I think it was Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano, but I apologize if it was someone else. Where it was like, a lot of teams are looking at Chase Young. He's still just 25 years old, and now he's healthy from the next surgery. I mean, you can absolutely see the next team talking themselves into it. And they're going to try, and people are going to get excited about him, and they'll probably have the exact same season he's had every year in his career. But if for some reason people had stopped deciding to pay for him, I think the Saints would bring him back around the same value, probably, not more.
Juwan Johnson.
Same kind of thing. If the Saints are getting a little, we're the only ones who know about this guy discount, I think he comes back. They've always loved having him in their locker room. But if another team sees, his touchdown production over the years and think he's an untapped gem, just waiting to become the next Jonnu Smith, I think he would get priced out too. And everybody's got money, so I'm going to predict he gets away, honestly.
So, two things. Did you know Juwan's 29?
No, I guess not. But I mean, that makes sense. He's been on the Saints for 6 years, and he came out like kind of as a fifth-year senior, so that does make sense.
It surprises me. Like, I kind of felt like he was he'll be
Yeah.
29 start of the season. I thought he was a younger player. I'm going to say go, but like it was interesting. When we talked to Loomis at the combine, he mentioned tight end. Like he was like, I don't have my full list of 25 things done yet, but he mentioned tight end. And he's like, and it might be on there twice. Like,
Yeah,
so
he did.
I think they got to revamp that position, but I think it probably starts younger, cheaper. It depends. Derek Carr takes a pay cut, and if he's like, "Hey, I want like some assurances that he's going to be a tight end," maybe that changes the conversation a little bit. But kind of where they exist now, I think it goes. I think it goes cheaper. I think they get younger at that position. I think that investment ends up coming through there. With younger, cheaper players, but. Yeah, the other thing here too is that Jawan's agency also has Tyler Conklin, who he was a good tight end too. He's a free agent, so they're going to kind of be setting the market, kind of dictating the market. They're going to have a really good feel for it. So I'm going to predict go. I had no idea he was 20. I just think he's at a point in his career where it probably makes more sense for him to try to go win, and makes probably more sense for the Saints to try to rebuild that position and get a little bit younger.
It's funny, both those guys and the next guy you're going to say are all on my list of, if I was the Saints, I was just scouring the rest of the, who's the young guy who hasn't quite hit yet, who has a chance to be better. Those are the guys you talk yourselves into free agency, and they both qualify, and so does this next guy.
Juwan Johnson was like 33rd on Florio's list of like top available free agents, ahead of Chase Young, I believe, too. Like that was kind of crazy to me. I would have flipped him, but like I can see it the other way. Like maybe it's a thing where you're too close to it, like, and you get
Yeah.
jaded by like hey, look, because we were kind of waiting for like Juwan to be like this like huge breakout, and it just kind of never quite hit. And like I think he just kind of stayed the same. Then he got on there with Rattler. I think his numbers got better. Like maybe in a different system, it's still there. I still believe. Like so, yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna end up going out and getting paid by somebody. Peyton Turner.
Oh, I thought Paulson Adebo was coming next when I kept saying somebody else. But Peyton Turner, now he's a guy I don't think will be priced out in New Orleans. So I mean, we have a brand new defensive coordinator, brand new defensive scheme, brand new defensive line coach. So it's hard for me to say I have any idea what they think of Peyton Turner. But I'm just going to guess go, because he probably could use a change of scenery. And if anyone else is going to bet a little bit on his potential, I think they'd be willing to let him go.
He had an Instagram post the other day that was like, "Only go where you're wanted." Like it had a like a song on it.
Maybe he didn't get an offer. Yeah,
He might be ready to move on. He
yeah,
might be ready to move on. Willie Gay, like if he doesn't cost nothing, I'd keep him. Like if you could get him back at the same price, I'd keep him. I think good locker room
yeah.
guy, $3 million. Like I would give him $3 million for depth.
Yeah, he can fill in and play either linebacker spot, or move pieces around if Demario or Warner's hurt. That's a good, solid third linebacker type of guy. Sure, I'll predict stay.
I'd want him for maybe even less than they were paying him last year, like a little bit less. But like I think he's a good guy to have around. If it makes sense, Tano.
Again, I just have no idea what they're looking for in defensive lineman. He used to fit the exact mold they were looking for in Dennis Allen's defense, but I mean, he's signing as a veteran minimum somewhere. So I'll say stay. What the hell? Let's put a stay.
Yeah, you can't give him 2.5 though. No,
no,
Udo,
veteran minimum. Veteran minimum.
Udo, I'm gonna say goes.
Yeah, probably, but maybe finds his way back like in September.
That felt like a disappointment, kind of overall. Lucas Patrick, I've heard that they want to keep him, so I'm gonna say keep him.
Maybe.
I think they're trying. I think they're trying to keep him.
I wonder if they. I wonder if that's where they make a Kellen Moore pick. Like, I mean, obviously we've talked about Mekhi Becton. He just played for him. I would like to see them maybe look for someone in free agency that they're penciling in as a starter at left guard, and Lucas Patrick feels more like fallback option to me.
We'll see. Will Harris.
Yeah, I like Will Harris a lot. He was super cheap. Was he veteran minimum last year?
1.29.
Yeah, I would love it at that price.
And we'll stop at Paulson Adebo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man,
I'm gonna do one more.
I I would have thought they were going to keep Paulson Adebo because I would have thought that injury was so significant that he's going to have to settle for a cheaper 1-year prove it deal. I think they could use him on the outside and move Alante to the inside. But again, some of those combine buzz articles and some of those rankings, I think he's firmly on the radar for what he has done. It's amazing in free agency how people are always trying to sell themselves. If you're trying to sell yourself on Paulson Adebo, I think he's going to get priced out of here.
And then MVS.
What's your guess on Paulson?
I'm gonna say stay. Again, I don't really know what they want to do though with those positions. Whole new scheme. Like I don't know. I don't know if he's a pattern match specialist or not. Like I haven't really thought about it.
I don't think he's going to be cheap though. I really don't. I thought before he would be cheap, but now that he's healthy, now that I mean, that cap went up $22 million for everybody. I mean, everybody has monopoly money out there. I think he's going to get paid.
I don't know if he does.
Yeah.
He might be one of them guys where like there's always like the up close perception and the distance perception. Like I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even look at this. Let me see. Like
I think he's favored by a distance perception. I think we watch every game and every snap, and we see the PI penalties and stuff. But from a distance, I think his.
I'm going to say the opposite. I think he's favored from a. Hold on, let's see what the PFF is on him. I have no idea what it is. I'm looking it up right now. I feel like he's one of those guys up close for like, no, like it's there. But then like other people are like, this guy like gives up a lot of plays.
Pass defenses guy, right?
Let's see. I don't know why it's not working for me.
I'll talk about MVS in the meantime. If they keep Carr, I think there's a great chance they keep MVS. It's funny, even when Carr was at his, lowest in the opinion of the fans, MVS was said, "I've always wanted to play with this guy. I used to play with Devontae Adams," and he talked about how he'll always give you a chance and throw it deep. That's MVS's game, and it proved true. He always got a chance at a deep pass, and Carr would throw it to him. I don't think there'll be a huge market for MVS, and I think he'll see opportunity here in New Orleans. So I bet MVS stays.
They got him as a 63 out of 100, which is just very average. Let's see where that ranks.
That was last season. What about the year before? Because the year before was his.
They had him at a 78. Let's see where he's at overall among corners. They had him 82nd among corners last season. Where was it the year before? Year before, 23 was definitely his better season.
Yeah.
The corners, it's a weird position, man.
He had 18 pass defenses in 23 too. I mean, if he had been a free agent after 23, he would have obviously.
They had him 21st overall that year.
He would have been in a way better position a year ago for sure.
I don't feel like I disagree with that either though. Like I was talking about him needing to. He sat down early in the season, like because of those penalties and all that stuff. So I don't know.
I'm just predicting that the market will talk themselves into.
He'll get paid.
When somebody put a season like 23 on tape and they're only 25 years old, somebody usually pays that somebody.
He'll probably get paid. He'll probably get paid more than he should. You're right. He probably will get paid more than he should. I might now be most fascinated by that one. Because it's a weird position and there's been potential.
Yeah, when you throw in the medical broken femur, there's like, I looked this up at the time. There's like 4 guys in football history who've come back to play with a broken femur, and only one of them was a high-end player.
All right. Again, back from the combine, shifting into our next topic, presented by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Anything from the combine that kind of any buzz, any gossip, any
Saints related or league related? What do you like?
Either or. What's your number one thing?
I wish the Saints had enough money to have been the team that wanted Debo Samuel. Man, that feels like an incredible deal for the Commanders. That's the team to buy stock in right now, isn't it? They're the
I'm
team that.
short. I'm shorting them. I'm shorting them, man. I'm shorting them. I feel like they shot too high. I kind of felt like they were smoke and
Fair,
mirrors
fair,
for a little
fair,
bit. I
fair.
kind of think there might be like I think they'll be like Houston
Like
this
the
year.
Texans, like the Texans.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
still a good team, still a good season, but I think they're going to be kind of like everyone's going to talk them into giving them like great Super Bowl odds. And
You're right.
if I could
You're right.
take the field, I would probably take
I'm
the
just
field.
jealous of the team that like has the
Yes.
young rising team, and they're like, all right, now we can go add Marshawn Lattimore. Now we can go add Debo Samuel. Like that's the team everybody wants the Saints to be. So I'm jealous, but yeah, the Saints are the exact opposite. I would say anything else that stood out to me about the Saints. Um, no, we got a chance to meet Brandon Staley. The Bo Davis buzz is pretty crazy because we live in LSU territory. He would have been a name that I would not have known that much about if he wasn't at LSU. I realize how little I know about this defense, and I'm putting together like free agent ranking list. We're talking about the guys they're going to re-sign. Um, and that just happened right before we got there. I mean, they signed up and they showed up and they were still filling out their staff in the combine. So it's the fact that we've spent so much time talking about Kellen Moore and his offense that this defense is kind of a mystery that's just now unraveling. That really stands out to me right now.
Yeah, the crazy Bo Davis. I had heard Bo Davis's name before I heard Brandon Staley's name. Like it was
Yeah,
like they wanted Bo Davis. Like that was a guy that was circled. Like his stature in the league is kind of in football is kind of crazy. Like people really speak highly of him. Like the player development aspect of this on defense kind of it makes me wonder how it's going to go. Honestly, like I really think that there's a possibility that they're looking at it like, hey, we got to kind of like tear this down and start over, and we aren't going to be able to go out and get all these, pricey players. So player development is going to be paramount. Like a full college staff is kind of crazy. We'll see how it works. It could be great, or I don't know. Maybe that inexperience shows up somewhere, but I like it. I like the idea of it. I like the pedigree of it. I don't really know a ton about Sermon yet. Like I need to look into him a little bit more. But I mean, the other guys, like the player development aspect, Bo Davis is there. In the secondary, it's there. Like Texas went from one of the worst defenses in the league in pass defense efficiency to in the nation in pass defense efficiency to second last year. So Joseph did a great job of improvement there. So I'm fascinated to kind of see where all that stuff goes. As far as the Saints stuff that stood out, there's a lot. Like there was a lot of stuff that a
I
lot
have
of
another one.
information. A lot of information. Like we talked to Kellen Moore for an hour. We talked to Mickey Loomis for an hour. Jeff Ireland was at a table for an hour. Like there's a lot of stuff that kind of, came out in that. Then we got to talk to Brandon Staley. Like there was a lot of access there at the combine. So I still got like 3 stories I need to write
Yeah.
off of it, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Another one that stands out to me, I think people are probably going to be happy with the results of what happens with Taysom Hill. I
Yeah,
think we already had some pretty good buzz on Cam Jordan and got more while we were there. I think all sides would love to see Cam Jordan come back. I think he's open to the pay cut, although all that really matters to Cam Jordan has yet to be determined. How's he going to fit in this defense? Are they going to give him an opportunity to rush from the edge enough to get a few sacks? That's what it's ultimately going to come down to. But I think we've always felt good that the money will be right there. I think that's true of Taysom Hill too. I don't think there's going to be any hardball on Taysom Hill. He's the 34-year-old guy who's supposed to make $10 million, even though he's coming off a torn ACL. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think they're going to find a really palatable solution that keeps him here and doesn't hurt their cap.
all right, we're gonna hit a quick break and we'll be back with the Martin's question of the day. Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300 or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000. Martin's is your go-to destination for everything merry and bright this holiday season. From an unmatched selection of bourbon, whiskeys, and wines to gourmet food, gift baskets, and catering, Martin's has all your holiday needs covered. Family owned and operated since 1946, Martin's knows the perfect ways to celebrate this season with loved ones. Visit them in Metairie, New Orleans, or Baton Rouge, or shop online for the ultimate convenience. Whether you're raising a glass or looking for the perfect holiday gift, make it an easy and cheerful holiday with Martin's. Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street.
Here at the Queen Casino, indulgence knows no bounds. Prepare your taste buds for an extraordinary culinary journey. Start your day at Capital Coffee. Craving something different? Three Walks Noodle Bar offers a tantalizing selection of Asian delights. At 1717 Kitchen and Cocktails, savor American cuisine with a twist. Or ascend to the loft for an elevated experience. Enjoy artesian grazing boards and exquisite craft cocktails. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
All right, welcome back to NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. It is now time for the Martin's question of the day. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. What side of the ball, this question comes from Isaiah. What side of the ball do you think they will focus on with the limited budget in free agency? Any specific positions come to mind?
We ended up just talking about this, but I think it's going to be defense because I think there's going to be a reshaping there. I mean, there's obviously going to be a reshaping of the offense too, but I think surprisingly, when you look at the pieces they have on offense, maybe they add one more offensive lineman, maybe they add one more receiver. I think Cedric Wilson actually probably stays because he's had good working with Kellen Moore. We know they need to address the tight end position, but the defense is the one where, I mean, there could be a completely different vision in here. I mean, they could replace Willie Gay, they could replace 4 defensive linemen, they could replace a couple DBs. I think that's the one where, you know, they've got to get guys to fit what they're doing. It's such a radical change, not radical, but I mean, they've had the same defense in place for so long. It's gonna be a little bit different, and I bet they're gonna have a different vision on different players.
Yeah, I think probably mostly probably defense. Offense, they need. I could see a tight end too. Throw a tight end
Yeah,
on there.
for sure. Tight end. I think a left guard. I'm going to predict a left guard, a veteran left guard in free agency too.
So yeah,
But
I mean,
the defense could be. I mean, especially if they let Paulson Adebo go, they might need a starting corner and 2 starting defensive linemen. I mean, what if they let Colin Saunders and Nathan Shepard go? I'm really fascinated to see how much revamping they do.
they could go for an X receiver too. It could be anything. It could be. They need so
everything.
much.
They need everything.
But if I got to pick one side of the ball, I'm with you. I would pick more on defense because it feels like the needs are more drastic there. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think defense first, defensive end especially, because I don't think you're addressing. I don't know how they're addressing that in free agency. I don't know how they rebuild this team. Honestly, we're gonna see. There's just so many. There's so many things you could do. There's just so many things you could do.
I'm sticking with my bold prediction of the offseason. The Saints will make 10 draft picks this year. That's my bold prediction. Right now they have 9. They're projected to have 9 once the comp picks come in. But Mickey Loomis did nothing to embolden my belief that they're going to make 10 picks when he gave like a 3-minute answer defending why they like to trade up for guys.
So you got them acquiring another pick?
I do. I have them trading down at some point in this draft. They need it so bad. They're reshaping with a new scheme on offense, a new scheme on defense. I'm hoping everyone is going to agree that they need to rebuild the floor of this team.
I'd set the over under at 7.
Oh gosh. Oh,
But I mean, that seems right, doesn't it?
All right, let me change this. I'm not going to back off my bold prediction, but the thing they really don't care about is day 3 picks. So I don't actually think they're going to make 10
or day 2 day 2.
But
I can see them trading
predict
up.
Right now they have a 1, a 2, and 2 3s, and gosh, I wish I had it in front of me. Is it 2 4s? I think they're gonna make a lot of picks in those first 4 rounds of the draft. I think they're gonna make as many as they have now or more. Now, will they package fifth, sixth, and seventh, especially when they get those comp sixths to move up for guys at a certain point and try to pick another one in 4 or 5 and end up only making 7 picks? That's definitely possible. But I think they will make as many top 4 round picks as they currently have, or even more. I don't think this is the year to put it all in on 2 guys. I hope they believe that too.
If you gave me the right odds, I would place a bet on them picking in the top 3, like on the right odds. Like I'm not saying it's
Top
gonna
3
happen.
overall.
Yeah,
Right.
I think if you gave me the right odds, like I feel
Yeah.
better. I would feel if you gave me the right odds on top
The
3.
odds are
picking in the
probably
top,
1 to 1.
if you gave me the right odds on picking in the top 3 or making 10 picks, I think I would, and I had to make a bet. I think I would go top 3 just based on DNA. I think
Yeah.
based on DNA,
Yeah.
you would get better odds though because it's
Yeah.
different. It's different than what they normally do. The trade, where are they trading back from though? What pick?
Man, I would trade back. I would do it from 1. I would really do. I've just never seen. I've never covered a Saints team that just needed wholesale depth improvements, young depth improvements. Man, I would love for them to make 2 picks in round 1, 2 picks in round 2, 2 picks in round 3, and 2 picks in round 4. I would just love it. I
Do
don't
they
know.
got the do they got they don't have the young player that you could trade for they love to do the trade a player for a pick thing when they're rebuilding. I don't think they have the player they could trade for a first rounder.
Not for a first rounder. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
they don't have the Brandon Cooks or the they
Jimmy
don't have that type
Graham,
of player.
Brandon Cooks,
Yeah.
Marshawn was the lesser pick, but no, they don't. I mean, they have Olave. They have Olave. I don't think they would do it, but it wouldn't be foolish. I wouldn't blame them, only for the resetting the clock purposes. They already have to give Olave his $15 million 5th-year bonus next year. That's probably the only guy
That's the only guy.
yeah. I
And
mean,
I don't see that happening.
Kool-Aid McKinstry, Tali Fuaga, but I don't see that happen. Brian Brzee, I don't see that happening either.
Fuaga's the only one I think you could get the first for.
Oh yeah, you don't get a first for the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's gonna do it. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll talk to you then.